Dad's cows and goats and my goats and cows all the way down through this lane. They come in here. This would be gone. This chain link back in there would be gone. They would just walk on in, and they would, I don't know what that is. Hope that's not snake throw up. You know, when we were little and we would see bubbles on the blackberry bushes, Dad would say, don't touch it. It was snake spit. I just touched that and it's wet. And it's like, oh, wait, snake spit. Okay, so, all right, I've been working out here. It's so hot. I've got some stuff on the ground. I know I got to pick it up. I just threw it off to the side so it wouldn't be in the way of mowing. And I realized I had a low tire. Look at that strip going right there. My tire was low. Anyway, I got my tire aired up. And I finished mowing a little bit more of the yard. I mowed day before yesterday, but I mowed really high because it was so thick. So I mowed again. But I want to show y'all something. Don't judge this garden. I'm telling you guys, I love my garden. Can y'all see through there? Molly is in that pond. This is about the third time. I don't usually have my phone with me, but I had my phone out here on the back deck a while ago. This is the third time I've called her to come out of that pond. I'm so scared there's a gator in there. I guess there's nothing in there. She wouldn't go in. Okay, never did anything with these. They're so sad. Everything out here was waterlogged. This tree has gotten to the point now that it covers half of the garden. So either I've got to trim this tree off on one side or I've got to move my garden, not this year, but before spring next year. And I'm thinking, let me show y'all Molly first. She is so funny. Mowed out here a little bit too. It's so thick. Look at her chewing her cud, standing in that water. Look at them weeds, almost as tall as Frodo. Look at her. Molly, that is so nasty in there. I did read that on that, look at the ducks shading. I did read on that Saturday lime that you can put it in a pond and it will eat the algae and then settle to the bottom and eat on algae at the bottom. And since it's safe for livestock and everything, like your birds, everything can dust in it. I mean, that's what it's for. So I've ordered some. You can't get it at Tractor Supply the day you want it. It's a order. So I just ordered a 20-pound bag from Amazon. So it'll be here. I don't remember what day it'll come. Anyway, I'm gonna try to kill this mess that came on the top of my pond after the flood. Here she comes. I guess she's cool in there. Molly, are you cool? Molly. Baby girl, is it cool in there? I hope a gator don't snatch you. She's so funny. Oh my gosh. So everything looks so, well, the grass here needs to be weed eated, but everything looks so sad inside the garden. I'm not even going in there. I've picked one bell pepper so far. Everything is just completely sad. Just sad. Sad, sad, sad. Sad, sad. So I'm going to let it do its whatever it's going to do this year. I'm not going to force it to do anything. I'm just going to, you know, water it and you know, do what I got to do. But I'm just going to, whatever I get, I get. What I don't, I don't. I'm not going to stress over it because water was, you know, 1.5 feet, 2 foot high out here on this for a day. And we know how high it was here. It picked these up, moved them. So what I'm going to do, I think I've been trying to think things through. Like, if we ever have another flood, what are we going to do? We already know that Dad and I are going to get together and we're going to fence off the front out there from down the ditch line, come back toward where it's that turnaround spot in my front yard. I don't know if any of y'all have ever noticed it, but there's a tree sort of out by my edge of my driveway, and that's where people turn into and then go out. Sometimes on Sundays, people will be actually parked in that spot. Anyway, so it'll come back from there and come up and it'll hit this corner of the gate that goes out of the side yard. And what I want to do, if I can do it, if what I want to do, then it may just be too hard and it might be better just to start fresh. But there is a fence on the other side of this fence. It is half down. I don't even know how many posts are still up. There's still T-posts in there. But here's the corner of it right here. You can see a rail right there. It's the H-brace. Okay? What I wanted to do was finish out that fence, go all the way down with new fencing, and then start here and go all the way down to the end, to that fence down there with new fencing, all the way down. So it sort of shrinks Tony's yard. Look how I haven't mowed back here yet. It's horrible. And then put a gate. This was my thought process on getting the cows to the front. Put a gate at the corner of mine and Tony's fence. Right there. Just put a gate in there somewhere. And when we want them, and what I would do would be go ahead and let the goats and Molly come on up and start clearing this, because they would have a lane in there. Just a lane between my fence and that second fence over there. They would have a lane all the way up. And then when it stops at the chain link down there, we would cut that section out so they could literally go on up and open out into the side yard. My problem is, in my side yard, I don't want cows and goats up around. It was one thing when they were little, but my AC unit is in there, the septic tank is in there. So either I fence, which I hate to do it. I hate to have a fence here and a fence here and a fence here. I could come from the corner, and see, I sort of don't really want them around my house, either like bumping my house or laid up against my house. So it's like I could come off the corner of my house over and hit this chain link, and that keeps my, you know, the AC unit and the septic tank from being messed with, but it still allows them access to the side of my house. And I really don't want them to have access to the side of my house. So I don't want them also to have access to my satellite. So I was thinking we're probably going to have to go ahead and continue this as a lane. So this joint right here, this chain link post from there over would be cut out. The goats will have this cleaned out in no time, to the point where I can run a mower through there eventually. From this chain link, go straight down through the yard like I'm going to that chain link down there. Now we could do that, just let them have a path to the front yard. Or we can go so far down and cut back to the gate. So either we have to put a gate down there, and what's sad about that is both those two trees, that tree and that tree, are growing, the fence is in the tree. I mean, the fence is in the tree. The tree has grown around the fence. So it'd be really kind of hard to cut out a gate down there. But if I wanted to just go straight on like I'm doing a lane, and then right as I get past this, you know, I'd still have a lane. It would be over here, be against that fence, just as wide as this one is now, just from straight here. Just keep going straight like I'm going toward them two trees down there. But right when I get past the satellite dish, cut back to that gate. So it would be a little bit of a straight, and then just, you know, it's two straight lines. One as far down as we can go, and one cuts back to the gate. And that brings the cattle, Dad's cows and goats, and my goats and cows, all the way down through this lane. They come in here. This would be gone. This chain link back in there would be gone. They would just walk on in, and they would, I don't know what that is. Hope that's not snake throw up. You know, when we were little and we would see bubbles on the blackberry bushes, Dad would say, "Don't touch it. It was snake spit." And I just touched that and it's wet. And it's like, oh, wait, snake spit. Okay, so that being said, then when they go in there, that fence at this corner right here would go past that tree that needs to be cut down a little ways, and it would cut back to the turnaround spot, and they would have that whole front area there but nowhere near, they can't get anywhere near my house. They can't get to the front porch. They can't get to the septic. They would all be, it's like this little road taking them to the open area in the front. So that's what I would like to eventually get done. But prior to doing that, what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring my garden. And, you know, Levi's trampoline is going to go right here. You can see the shady spot. And it's 2 o'clock. So he's getting shade there already at 2 o'clock. And it'll be continued shade the rest of the afternoon. But this, like, you can see these tracks from my lawnmower. Well, this is where it cut, because I didn't realize I was almost flat. I could put my garden right here. I could just bring it from there to here. And it would be full sun, and it would be up here. And then when that's gone, there will be no reason not to go ahead and give that area to the goats and the cows too. So what I would do, and I think I told y'all this a long time ago in a video, how my backyard fence used to be right here. The chickens run yard is where my backyard fence was originally. I just stopped it right there and opened the rest of this up. But if I come off that post right there, come straight down here and went straight to that fence right there, then I could take down some of that. I could take down that whole back fence right there. All that, the cattle panel and the gate could move to here, move up. And then this little section comes down. There's a cattle panel there too. It comes up. So that's already 2 cattle panels that I would have for this area. I don't have to buy. And then the gate comes up. I don't have to buy another gate. And this would allow me to go through to mow when I want to mow things. But it would give the cows, like, they could lay right here in the shade close to the house, you know. They would have this much more room to come up on if they wanted to come close to the house. It's just so much I could do with this little section right here. I mean, not for me, but for them. It gives them shadier spots, which they have a lot of shade out there. It gives them nice grass, because some of this is St. Augustine. And then this gives me my yard, and it's back down to a smaller size with my garden right here in the middle. I mean, literally right there. And I was thinking, what about for my goats? If I wanted to keep my goats closer to the house during times when there's high water, almost to, well, honestly, Molly could have stayed in here, but I wanted her away from my septic tank. I was thinking, I could build a deck, not freestanding, because I would want it to be anchored in the ground so it doesn't move. Because we know this little deck walked this way in the water. Now I've got to pick it up and move it back that way a little bit. But like a pretty good size, like an 8x8 or an 8x10 deck, about 3 foot off the ground, 3 foot, with a little ramp going up, or even put a roof over it. I just don't want anything, you know, we don't get hurricanes here in Plum Grove, but we get the winds from them when they come into Galveston, and sometimes those winds are high, and I don't want anything picked up and moved or roofs pulled off. But I felt like we've got a good tree line here of a windbreak. There was a little deck in here for just high water they could get on, they could lay on it, they would be out of the water, and I wouldn't have to move them to the front with cows that they don't know. Hello, ladybug. You've already eaten and you're not coming out. No, ma'am, you're not coming out right now. My sweet baby. Yes, wag your little tail. Wag your little tail, my love. Hi, sweet girl. I just put her some food. She don't get a bottle till this evening. She still gets her bottle. She'll be 4 months old next week. Anyway, I was just thinking that might be something to think about. We already know we're going to do the lane to bring the cows to the front. So why not just go ahead and bring a new fence across here, bring my garden up, and give my stuff that little bit of, it's not much of a yard, but it's still something. And if the water never comes up all the way, they can just come to right there and hang out. It just depends on what kind of water we're getting. We have to have river flood water. Rainwater will never bring them to the house. It has to be river flooding to bring them up here like that. So anyway, it's sad I can't do nothing with my garden, but I'm not. It was swallowed. And now it's just like it's like stumped. You know? So I'm gonna keep watering it and, you know, doing what I can with it. And if I get a vegetable, I get a vegetable. If I don't, I don't. And I think next year I'll take it down real slow. The back section is completely in the ground with concrete, but I don't think the front section is. I'm trying to remember when I built it. I don't think the front is. That's why it leans a little bit in the front. So the front section I'll be able to take down really easy and redo it. All I would really need is some new posts and new post and wire. And the wire really, you know, I thought about it first as for the chickens, but the wire is really just a precautionary thing, like a second fence to go through if the cows or goats do ever get in the yard, which they've already been in a few times. They can't get to the garden. So anyway, I'm gonna go in and get me some tea. And I don't know, she's still out in the middle of that water. The first time I seen her in it, I panicked and I started hollering for her, and I thought she was stuck, like, you know, like that quicksand muddy junk. But she came right out, and I was like, okay, well, I guess she's fine. This is the third time I've seen her in. I'm just gonna let her be. She still hadn't come out. I guess it's cool in there. All right, I'm gonna go. Here's my canoe Jake got tumped over for me. And I gotta pick up all this stuff and go ahead and throw them springs away. Am I gonna need them springs? I don't know. I sat the springs to the side, and now they're all over the place. Chickens keep jumping up there, knocking them down. Katie jumped up and knocked some down. I'm just gonna get rid of all of the rest of this mess, clean it up, but right now I just want something to drink. Oh, I don't know if y'all can tell it. My pool is very pretty and blue right now. I can just keep it that way. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Katie, I'm trying to do a video.